Okay, ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana. Nice to see all of you. Now that is Swahili for you're most welcome. Great to have you on board back into my YouTube channel. I am very delighted because it's yet another beautiful day that we get to engage in a conversation that I believe is gonna be useful and helpful to most of us. And I'm so glad, first and foremost, I want to appreciate you, my viewers, for the consistency you have shown. Thank you so much for helping me realize that indeed these messages have found a place in your heart. I don't take that for granted. I don't know who may be in need of this message, and therefore I believe that I have a little contribution I can make into this world. I could brighten somebody's day. I could help somebody who is going through a particular situation, and maybe they don't know what to do. They don't know who to turn to, because in life many times we find ourselves in situations and scenarios where things are not working out the way we expect them to work out. Things are a bit thick, and you don't know exactly what to do. You don't know who to call. Sometimes we don't want to share our struggles with people because we are concerned and worried about how they're going to look at us, what they're going to think about us. So these messages can come in very handy, and I believe there are many people who have given me very positive feedback that indeed these messages have been helpful to them, and for that I'm very grateful. Now, today I want us to talk about a situation or a story that is featured in the book of wisdom, the book of the Bible. Of course, I highly recommend that irrespective of your religious leaning, some of these spiritual books are very useful to all of us, and that's why I keep recommending that let's read these books. Let's find the truth and the wisdom that is hidden in these books, because I find it very interesting that every time I go through a situation in life, somehow I tend to find that it has already been addressed in the books of wisdom, in the Bible particularly. I've also read the Quran. I mean, there's so much wisdom we can learn from the people who went before us, and that's why I highly recommend, I keep saying, in as much as you read all these other books that you read, please make these spiritual books that was written by spiritual leaders. Read them, find out how they dealt and navigated the issues of life. So back to our topic of the day. I want us to talk about a story that is found in the book of Ezekiel 37 about the valley of dry bones. Now, first of all, think about it. This is a story that is told about the children of Israel at a time when they had been taken into captivity, at a time when they were enslaved, at a time that they were far away from their home, they were away from their ideal situation, and that is when this vision unfolds, and Ezekiel is given this vision, and that is why I thought, wow, we need to engage with this story because it has so much relevance to our everyday life, and I believe there's so much we can learn from it with regards to how we navigate the real issues of our life today. For the Israelites, they were in captivity. They had been enslaved. They had been taken as slaves in Babylon. So this vision comes to Prophet Ezekiel, and he's shown, he's taken into this valley that is full of dry bones. And he's wondering, what is all this? And God asks him, what do you see? And he says, I see a lot of dry bones. And God asks him a very interesting question and asks him, do you think these bones can come back to life? And Ezekiel, just like everybody else, is like, only you, Lord, only you knows. Because, I mean, I can imagine it is such a miserable situation. It is a scenario that depicts death, really, the reality of death, like, the people are dead. These are bones that are decaying. So can you imagine God asking Ezekiel whether those bones could come back to life? I mean, even you would, what would you have? I don't know what you'd have told God if it was you. But we'll look at the application of that story in our lives. And God tells him, son of man, I want you to prophesy to these bones. I mean, I'm imagining Ezekiel must have been thinking, God, you're not real. I mean, how do I prophesy to bones like this? And anyway, The story goes that Ezekiel ran up and down, and he obeyed and he did exactly what God told him, and he prophesied over the bones. And then he had a rattling sound. Okay, he had a rattling sound, and all of a sudden he started seeing, just like God had told him to prophesy to the bones, he started seeing the bones coming back together. Okay, medics will tell you. The other day my sister was telling me that a human body has, I think, 209 bones or something like that. I may not have the exact number. So he started seeing the bones coming together, the finger, this finger coming, and the next one, and they can now start to sort of form a shape of a human being. And then he started seeing tendons attaching themselves to bones, and then meat, and then the skin, and now there were complete human beings. These bones have come together in as much as they were dry, and initially Ezekiel did not even see any sign of life or any sign of anything happening. All of a sudden he notices now a human body has been formed. And then God tells him, now prophesy for the breath to come into this, because yes, human beings now have been formed, but they are still not alive. And as he was prophesying to the breath to enter them, a wind started blowing from different directions. Okay, and all of a sudden, the bones came back to life. From a spiritual point of view, there's a whole message here. That yes, these people may have been scattered, they may have been gone to captivity, and clearly their lives had come to a standstill, their nation had become non-existent. But God was trying to give a message that I am going to bring breath back to their life, to their bodies. I'm going to give them back their lives, and I'm going to gather them together, and they'll come back to me. And we all know that history and what has happened in the Middle East, because that's a real scenario that has happened in the Middle East. But for me, what I want us to look at is the application of this story in our own daily lives. Now, for me, the valley of dry bones sometimes depicts, let me talk about, for example, from my career point of view, from my business point of view. There are times when you do everything you can and you build a business, and then it dries up and it becomes lifeless, completely lifeless. And you're looking around and you're thinking, oh my God, everything is dead. I mean, what can I do? You feel like giving up. You feel there's no hope because you've done everything you can do everything you are required to do, but there is literally no life, and everything has dried up and everything has died, and you have no income. The business is not growing, and there you are. And you're looking at this, and this for you is a valley of dry bones. But God is always consistently reminding us, I am God. I am the creator. In the first place, I am the one who created this life that was in these people who died and became bones that were scattered in the valley. Even now, in the situation you're in, for example, if it is in your business environment, maybe you've lost a job, you had built a career, you gave everything to it, and all of a sudden you're not needed. So now you find yourself in this environment where you are in a dry situation. You don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to restart. Or you're like me, you are in a business environment and things seems to have dried up. Now, God is reminding us that He's the one who had in the first place given us these opportunities, the jobs that we have, the life that we have, the families that we have. It is God Himself who gave them to us. And even though in this moment in time, they may be looking like dry bones, God is still saying, I have the capacity to breathe life back into them. And I'm telling you, they'll become a vast army. Just like in that story, all these people became a vast army. Even now, in the situation that you're feeling is a lifeless situation, God is able to breathe life back into it, and it will become a vast army. The question is, can you be able to believe in this moment that God can breathe back life into your situation? He can breathe back life into your business. He can breathe back life into your family situation. He can breathe back life in your finances. He can breathe back life in the death of the spirituality, maybe in the environment or in spirituality has come to an end. Nobody cares anymore about God. Nobody cares anymore about church. Nobody wants to share the word of God. Nobody cares anymore about prayers, because maybe you've gone through such difficult situations that life has been literally been sucked out of you guys. Spiritually, people are dead. God is saying, I can bring back life into all these dry bones and rebuild a vast army of people with full of life, and bring back joy and bring back hope. Can you be able to believe if you're in a moment like that? Is it easy for you and I to believe? Look at the reaction of Ezekiel. He was a prophet, but when he looked around that situation, he told God, only you know. Because even I can imagine he was like, how is that possible? These are dry bones. And many times we will find ourselves in situations like that from time to time. The question is, can you be able to believe that God has the capacity and the power to breathe back life into that dead scenario, into that dead situation? If your business is struggling, if your customers have been taken away, if the thing that you are hopeful, if that deal that you are hoping you will get has collapsed right in front of you, and you're experiencing this dryness, can you believe that God is able to breathe back life into the dry bones? Because remember, there's a lady that I love to follow. She's I learned about her posthumously. Of course, she died in 1925. She's called Florence Kovoshin, and Florence Kovoshin was a mystic teacher. She was a very deep spiritual teacher. And she wrote very many books which were published posthumously. Most of her books were published posthumously. And one of the books that I love to listen to so much, because I have a preference for reading audiobooks, is one of the books that I love to read from her is the book called Your Word is Your Wand. And you can imagine, a word is something that, you know, that thing that has a whisker that you can flash around. That's a word. So she says your word is your wand, and you can change any scenario, you can change any situation through your word. And even for those of us who are spiritual people, who develop our spirituality, we all know, and I know most of us are, we all know that even the books of wisdom, the Bible, for example, teaches us that there is life in our words. So in this scenario you may be finding yourself in, where all you're seeing around you is death, bones that are lifeless, that have fallen into pieces. You cannot even tell which bone belonged to the hand, which one was for the leg, which one was a rib, which one was for the head, because they are scattered all over. God is asking, can you believe that he has the power to breathe back life into that situation? If you start speaking the word that has life, that gives life, think about it. God did not just tell Ezekiel, I'm going to bring this thing back to life. He was very specific. He told Ezekiel, prophesy over these dead bones. God was telling him, speak the word over this scenario, speak the word over this situation, and I'm promising you, Ezekiel, this thing, what you tell them, they are going to obey you. And so when he started speaking into the dry bones, guess what happened? They started obeying. They started attaching themselves to each other. The tendons started coming. The meat came. The skin came. The life came. And life was back. And that is exactly my challenge today. I want to ask you today, whatever situation you may be going through, whatever it is, I don't know, can you start speaking life back? Can you start prophesying like Ezekiel into your dry situation? Can you call it back? Can you tell the bones to come back together? Can you tell the meat to start attaching itself? Because there is power in our words. Read that book by Florence Kovoshin. It is called Your Word is Your Wand. It is available in audio. You can Google it and you can be able to listen. I normally tell people this is one of my most treasured accessories. And I know you might be thinking, oh yeah, right, those are just Bluetooth earphones. Yes, but this has been working on my mind a lot. When I'm in that moment, let me say I'm on the road, maybe going somewhere, I don't have to keep cussing the traffic and all that stuff. I don't do that stuff anymore. I plug in a book, I plug in the Bible, I plug in any audio book, I plug podcast, I plug music that is uplifting and blessing to me. And by the time I'm getting where I'm getting, I'm so full of life. I'm not sucked up by traffic. In fact, I tell people traffic becomes my best friend because I have time to read my books. So I'm encouraging you to read this book, and also read that story in the book of Ezekiel 37 about the valley of the dry bones, and realize how powerful your words are. When you believe and you align yourself with God, any dead situation, we can breathe back life to it. We can speak life back to it because we've been given power by God. And that's why God was very deliberate. He told Ezekiel to speak over the dry bones. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope this message will encourage somebody who may be going through a situation, and maybe all you're seeing around you is death. I'm here to tell you, you have the power to breathe life back into that situation. And God himself will breathe his life into that situation, and you will be able to get back on your feet. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Kindly like and share this video, and let's bless somebody. Somebody may be in need of this message. And remember, and one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, I am now streaming my videos live on blockchain, on the Theta blockchain. You can find me on Theta TV. I will leave the link on my where to find me on the blockchain's live stream on the Theta TV. I'll leave the channel here below on this video. Kindly sign up and subscribe and follow me, because I'll also be sharing a lot of my messages live on the blockchain, and they will forever permanently be there so that you can be able to build and help each other. God bless you. Please remember to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, support my YouTube channel, like and share this video, and let's spread this word. God bless you.